This is the live podcast with Manuel, living in full expression. Welcome to the live podcast with me, your host Manuel, and today we're solving the problem that stops most communities from thriving. In our last episode, you would have built your community, you launched it, you got your first members, and then with 3 hits, you stare at your screen thinking, what do I post today? I posted yesterday and the day before. I'm running out of idea. This is exhausting. So you skip a day and then the 2-day, then a week, and suddenly your community is quiet and members aren't engaging and you're wondering if you made a mistake. But here's the truth. The problem isn't you. The problem is you don't have a content system. Most experts try to create content from scratch every single day, and that's like trying to run a restaurant without recipes. You will burn out before you succeed. So in today's episode, I'm going to be showing you how to build a content engine, a simple system that creates 30 days of content in 90 minutes. Use AI as your assistant, not your replacement, and keeps your community thriving without exhausting you. Because in the era of AI, content is abundant, but consistent strategic content that builds community, that's rare. And that's what we're building today. So if you're ready, let's get started. Now let's address what actually happens with content right now. And I'm just going to call it our content reality check. Now let's look at the old way of content, the old way before AI. You spend hours trying to create original content from scratch every single day through several means, maybe by your work, your daily activities, and all that. But the new era, the AI era, AI can generate content instantly. So can everyone else, and the internet is drowning in mediocre AI content because everyone can generate content. So what makes your content valuable in the times where content is in abundance is not information, because anyone can get that. What makes your content valuable is your unique perspective and experience, your community's story and transformation, the conversation it creates, the connection it builds, and the system behind it that makes it sustainable. Now, here are 3 truths about content in 2025, which will also spill into 2026. You don't need more content. You just need a better system. And one great piece repurposed beats 10 mediocre pieces created from scratch. Number 2, AI is your assistant, not your voice. You need to understand that you use AI to speed up creation, but your perspective and stories is what makes it authentic. Number 3 is consistency beats quality. A good enough post every day beats a perfect post never published. So the experts who win aren't creating the most content. They are creating the most strategic content with the least effort. All right, so let's look at the 1 to 10 content multiplication system that you can create for your content. And that's the system that will change everything for you. We have the core principle. Now, what this means is that you're creating one piece of pillar content and you multiply it into 10 pieces across platforms. And your weekly pillar content could be you record a 10 to 15 minutes training or teaching on a specific topic. Option 2 could be you write a 500 words article or newsletter about one transformation or framework. Option 3 can be you host a live Q&A or a coaching session and you record it. This can take you 30 to 60 minutes once per week. Then this one piece becomes your content engine. Now this is how you can multiply that one content. So from that one pillar piece, you can create number 1, your main community post. So this can take like 5 minutes. You share the key insight or framework in your community. You can create newsletter by expanding that pillar. Then this can take 15 minutes, which could be your weekly newsletter in the written version or summary. And then you can have Instagram or Facebook posts. You can extract quotes. Then you pull the most powerful quotes or insights through that content. You can have LinkedIn articles, which is your repurposed pillar, and this gives you a professional angle on the same topic. You can have Twitter or X thread, break it into points, and turn framework into 5 to 7 tweet threads. Then you can have Instagram stories, make at least 3 to 5 slides or carousel, and this can give you a visual snippet. And then you can have your YouTube shorts or reels. This can be 60-second video. This could be one powerful insight from that pillar post you have created or pillar content you created. And then you can have email to your list. So you can use your newsletter to send newsletter to your email subscribers. If you have a podcast, that pillar could be your podcast. And then you have community discussion prompt where you ask questions. For example, what's your experience with the topic you discussed in your pillar content? Then if you look at the number of time we have spent here is around 90 minutes to create a 10 piece of content from one original piece. And that gives you 10 days of content minimum from a 90 minutes of work. All right. So let's look at your weekly content rhythm. For example, you can take Mondays, 30 minutes to create your pillar, like we talked about, record your training, write your article, or host your live sessions, one topic, one transformation, and that's it. Then on Tuesday, you can take out 30 minutes to batch repurpose them. You can turn your pillar into 5 different formats using the multiplication system we discussed. You can use AI to help you extract quotes, summarize, or format your content. On Wednesday, you can schedule everything. So you can use tools like Letter, Buffer, Metricool, and so on to schedule those posts across platforms. Load up the entire week on those scheduling platforms. Then on Thursday to Sunday, show up and engage. You could comment on responses, answer questions, share members' wins, but you're not creating new content anymore. You're just engaging with what you've already posted. Then if you look at it, it's a total content creation time of just 90 minutes per week. The rest is engagement, community building, and showing up as human, and which is where the authentic self comes to play. So let's look at the content calendar framework that you can adopt. With what you know now, you're not going to be starting from a blank screen anymore. And with this framework or this structure I'm going to be sharing with you now, you can be on autopilot. So what do you need to do? Monthly themes. Each month, you have one outreaching theme tied to your expertise. So you can have some few minutes to look at what theme for the month, and then you build from there. And they are to be tied to your expertise. For example, for a business coach, you can have January could be goal setting and vision. February could be sales and revenue. March could be systems and automation. And April could be marketing and visibility. So it all depends on your niche or your area. Then you create those themes for the month. Then you have your weekly focused areas. So you can have a 4-week rotation. Week 1 could be education and training. Here you teach a framework, a strategy, a concept, which positions you as an expert. And then in week 2, you can have transformational stories, where you share your client's win, case studies, before and after, which creates desire in the hearts of your listeners. And then week 3, you can do behind the scene, which are personal, share your journey, your challenges, your learnings. These help you to build connection. This shows your human part, all right? So on week 4, that would be engagement and community. So you ask questions, create discussion, spotlight membership, and this helps you to build your community. Then you repeat this every month, follows this pattern within your monthly theme. Then you now come down to your daily posts, Mondays to Fridays. Monday, you can do motivation and mindset. Here, what you want to do is you want to share with your audience what you want them to know that week. And on Tuesday, you can do tips and tactics. So this is where you share one actionable thing they can do that day. And on Wednesday, you can do win or stories where you share client transformation or your own wins. And on Thursday, you can do questions and engagement, ask for their opinion, experiences, or challenges. And then on Friday, you can do celebration and reflection. So weekly wins. What are you proud of? Community highlight. Now, you never wonder, what should I post? You know exactly what type of content to create based on the day and the week. So this gives you a clear guideline. Now, how do you use AI as your content assistant? Let's talk about that. This is what AI should do for you as a personal assistant. It should help you generate ideas. For example, you can enter a prompt to say, give me 10 ideas about, mention a topic for your audience, and then repurpose contents. AI can help you repurpose those contents. You can ask it to turn this article into a 5-tweet thread. And then you can also ask AI to create variations, right? You can use a prompt to say, give me 5 different ways to say this insight. And then AI can help you write outlines. You can use AI also to polish your drafts. For example, you can use a prompt to say, make this clearer and more engaging. You drop the draft. Now, these are the things that AI shouldn't do for you, right? AI shouldn't write your story. AI doesn't know your journey, except you have trained it to an extent. But you should be the one to tell your story. And then AI shouldn't create your framework for you. AI doesn't have your unique methodology. However, if you have trained it effectively, it can help you, but you need to have your human touch on it. Now, AI should not replace your perspective. AI doesn't have your experience. It may have idea based on your training on the AI, but it shouldn't replace your perspective. And lastly, be your own source. Always add your human insight in your write-up. Don't just do copy and paste. Let people feel your human touch, and that makes your work authentic. Always know that AI speeds up and then you show up. So you can use AI to draft faster, repurpose easier, generate variation, format content, but always add your story, your experience, your perspective, your personality. And here's a pro tip for you. Use AI to create the skeleton, then you can add the soul. That's the content that actually connects. Okay, so let's talk about the 5 content categories that convert. Now, remember, not all content is created equally. So here are the 5 types that actually drives your business or drives the growth of your community. Number 1 is authority content, which is 30% of your content. So in this category, you're teaching frameworks, strategies, how-tos, which positions you as the expert. Example could be the 3-phase framework I use with every client. This gives you positioning as an expert. And then you have transformation content. This is 20% of your content. And here it shows real results, clients win, case studies, which creates desire for your listeners. Example could be Sarah went from 0 to 10K per month in 90 days. And here is how. And then you have connection content, which is 20% of your content. This is where you share personal stories behind the scene and your journey, which builds relationship. And then here is an example of that. Here's what I was afraid to tell you about my first year in business. All right, it shows a little bit of your vulnerability. Then you have your engagement, which is 20%. Here you can have questions, polls, discussion. You get members to talk using this approach. Example could be, what's your biggest challenge with, you mentioned the topic right now. So that can make them to engage with you. And then you have 10%, which is conversion content, which talk about your offer, invite them to your program, which drives revenue. Example could be, I'm opening 10 spots in my group program. Here's what's included. And so ensure that the balance is made. Always know that too much authority, it will feel like a lecture. Too much transformation feels like bragging, and too much connection feels self-focused, and too much engagement, no direction, and too much conversion feels salesy. So you must balance it. And that's why this percentage is very important. So mix all 5 and your content will feed your community, build authority, and drive your business. All right, so how do you avoid burnout? And I'm going to give you steps that would help you to avoid burnout. So the first thing you need to do is batch every time. Never create content daily. Create weekly in batches. And then number 2 is repurpose ruthlessly. One idea should become a 10-piece. Never start from zero. Never start from scratch. Always use a template. Same structure, different content. Then you can always edit it to suit that topic. Always remember that good enough beats perfection. Publish and move on. And then you can take a content break. 1 week per quarter, use only repurpose evergreen content. Learn to give yourself break so you can spend time with your loved ones. So the next thing you can do is let members create content. This can sound interesting. You can feature their stories, their wins, their questions. User-generated content is usually powerful and takes zero effort. So you can tap into members' wins to create your content. When it has to be with mentioning them, you may have to ask for permission, or you can change the name of the person and the story can be same. So use AI strategically. Speed up creation, but don't lose your voice. This is very, very important. Remember, your community doesn't need perfection. They just need consistency and authenticity. Just be yourself. A simple, authentic post beats an overproduced piece that takes 3 hours. So the more you do it, the more you get good at it. All right, so here are your action plans for this episode. Choose your pillar content format and then pick your monthly theme for next month. Then 3 is create your first pillar piece. Take 30 to 60 minutes to do this and then repurpose into 5 formats using the multiplication system that we talked about. And then you schedule 5 days of content. And here is something that you can do this month. Create 4 pillar piece, 1 per week. Multiply each into 10 pieces and post consistently 5 days per week minimum, and track engagement and see what gets response. Then you refine based on what works. So in closing, here's what I need you to understand. Your community needs you to show up consistently. But showing up doesn't mean creating from scratch every day. It simply means having a system that multiplies your effort, leverages AI as your assistant. So you never stare at a blank screen. The experts who quit aren't less talented than you. They just didn't have a content system. They try to create from scratch every day and burn out by week 4. You're building a content engine that can help you create 30 days of content from 90 minutes of work. Repurpose strategically across platforms, uses AI to speed up without losing your voice, keeps your community fed and engaged, and doesn't exhaust you in the process. So content isn't the hard part. Not having a system is. You now have the system, so you need to use it, build it, refine it, and watch your community thrive because you showed up consistently with valuable content that didn't drain you. And this has been the live podcast with me, your host, Manuel. And until I see you in our next episode, keep living in full expression.